Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, please hit the like button, subscribe, help our algorithms to boost what we're posting. And I would encourage you to also hit the notification bell so that whenever we post a video, you're going to get notified promptly. My name is Victor and I'm going to be your host on this channel. Today we're going to be talking about two verses in particular that actually have changed my mind, changed my thinking about my walk with God, and changed my approach as well. Those verses are in the book of Romans chapter 12 from verse 1 and 2. There's a little play of words that Apostle Paul is using here, and I would like to, just shed some light on that. He says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. He is painting a picture for the Roman church, because the olden days, or in the days before them, when the Israelites were in the wilderness and when they were in Jerusalem, they used to present sacrifices to God to appease God, right? So God had a dispensation with them where, in order to get forgiveness for their sins, they had to sacrifice animals. They had to sacrifice animals once a year to receive forgiveness, right? And now Apostle Paul is saying, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercy of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice. There are a few things I want to bring out from here, right? In those days, if they want to sacrifice an animal to God, first of all, the animal had to be dead before it came on the altar. That's the first thing you have to keep in mind. The animal had to be dead before it was put on the altar. And then secondly, the fire of God that consumes, and then, when the fire of God comes down and consumes the sacrifice, it means God accepts that sacrifice. So the fire of God that consumes the sacrifice does not come down until the dead animal is on the altar. But Paul here is saying that he's beseeching them to present their bodies as a living sacrifice. What's he trying to say? Listen, just like those animals in those days, I am asking you people to bring yourselves to the altar. I'm asking you to keep yourself on the altar, right? Number one, the animal had to be dead. And secondly, the fire of God will not come on the altar unless the animal was placed on the altar. So if he's telling us to keep our bodies as a living sacrifice, what he's saying is we have to dedicate ourselves as dead animals. Now, you have to dedicate yourself as something that was dead and keep ourselves on the altar in service. And read what he said. He said, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. So he's not even saying this is something that, pastors have to do and bishops have to do. Every believer has to present their bodies as a living sacrifice. It means we have to all come on the altar. We all have to be on the altar. And, many times, we just like the animals, when they are dead and they are on the altar, what happens is, if the fire of God is coming, the animals don't look at the fire and say, hey, fire is coming, I'm going to take off. No. The fire of God then used to come down and consume the animals. And today, what God does is, when you present yourself to him, his fire comes down in a different way. Now, it's not coming to consume you, but it's coming to prune you. It's coming to burn off the chaff, burn off the things that are not supposed to be in your life, and then keep you presentable to himself. Right? That's what he's trying to say. So he's telling the church to present their bodies as a living sacrifice. Now, this is another important thing. Living sacrifice. The sacrifice of old used to be dead. But now he's saying living. This means that this is a daily thing. That as a believer, our bodies are supposed to be on the altar daily. We are supposed to be burnt daily. We are supposed to be acceptable unto God daily. You are doing it as a living sacrifice. It's not a one-off. Then the animals, they bring them once a year. You bring them, you kill them, you put them on the altar, God's fire consumes them, and then what happens? That's it for the year. See you next year. But he's saying, keep your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God. It's your reasonable self. So this is the basic level of Christianity. That the moment we receive Jesus in our lives, the next thing, we present our bodies as a living sacrifice. And this is very important. Like you said, living sacrifice, it's a daily routine. You do this every day. Your Christian walk, God prunes you and he takes off the things that, John speaking in John chapter 15, Jesus said, I am the vine and, my Father is the vine dresser. And he says, whoever abides in me, the vine dresser will come and prune him. What does pruning mean? He puts you in shape. He keeps you in shape for his work. He keeps you in shape for what he wants to use you for. And Apostle Paul here speaking in Romans chapter 12, he's saying the same thing. Present your body as a living sacrifice. And then he goes on in verse 2 to say something very important, which I like. And he said, how do you present your body a living sacrifice? What would help you to keep you as a living sacrifice? See what he says in verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is a very important verse, because the word there, conformed, is a word that got it from the Greek systematizo. What this means is, it's like saying fashion. So, for example, we have a lot of fashion trends. Kanye releases a shoe, everybody wants to buy it. Why? Because Kanye released it. Or Nike, very popular guys, they release a shoe, everybody wants to buy the latest Nike shoes. So, Nike has fashioned, this is the same word, Nike has fashioned our style. So, they have given us a trend which everybody wants to jump on. So that's the same thing he's saying. He's saying, be not conformed to this world, right? So be not fashioned like this world. Don't let the world give you your style. That's one way to see it. Another way to see it is the word conform. People have used it as a mold. You know, when you have a potter and clay, when the clay is very liquid, the potter can touch it any way he wants. As it's on the turntable, as it's turning, he can touch it however he wants, and then that shapes it. So what he's saying is, you do not let the world shape you. It's the same word. You don't let the world shape you. You know, in the world where we are in today, where everybody has opinions, where the world is throwing things at believers, throwing things from all angles. They are saying things to our kids in elementary school. They are saying things to our kids in middle school and high school. On the internet, he's saying, don't let the world shape you. Don't let the world give you a style. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Right? So what he's pretty much saying, there's going to be times, and this Apostle Paul speaking hundreds of years ago. So he knew, this is not anything new. These things that have been happening from that time. He's saying, don't let the world, because there will always be opinions. There will always be words said. There will always be ideas, new ideas. They will give you ideas on how you should live your life. They will give you ideas on who you should be. But don't let the world shape you. The way you can be a living sacrifice, the way you can offer yourself as a living sacrifice daily, is by allowing your mind to be transformed. And how do you do this? By giving yourself to the Word of God. That's how, if you delight yourself in the Lord, He's going to give you the desires of your heart. What this means, He's going to change how you think. He's going to transform you from your inside out. That's the only way you can give yourself as a living sacrifice. There's so much on the news. There's so much happening around the world. There's killings. There's all kinds of agendas of the devil. But he's saying daily we give ourselves to be living sacrifices. Daily we give ourselves and we put ourselves on the altar to be burnt. Not burnt into ashes. Not burnt to be condemned. Not burnt to be thrown away or be swept away. But burnt to be refined. You know, they say things about how diamonds are only gotten from pressure. Gold is only gotten if it is burnt by fire. And God is trying to bring out the best in you. He's trying to shape you into what is going to cause change in your world. How you can transform your world. It won't happen unless you change your mind. And if you are influenced by the news and influenced by everything that's happening around you, you won't be able to influence and cause change. And the Apostle Paul is giving a nice admonition here. Just like the animals of old were kept on the altar, this is how we should keep ourselves on the altar daily. When an animal is dead, no matter what you say to an animal that is dead, it won't get up. It won't run up. If you insult an animal, you won't say, oh, stupid animal, you are dead. It's not going to get up and run away. Why? Because it is dead. It's the same way we're supposed to act when it comes to criticism, when it comes to everything that happens to us. We are dead to the world and we are living only for Christ. And our only style of life is to be a living sacrifice. That's what God wants for us. That's how God is going to use us to affect our environment, affect our world. This is how we change. We change our mind first, and then we change everything that's around us. I hope this blessed you. I hope this encouraged you to take up your cross daily, like Jesus said, and follow. It's going to be painful. In a world like this, you're going to have to say no to a lot of things. You're going to have to say no to some kind of friendships and relationships. or you are saying yes to the most important relationship that matters. And that's your relationship with God. And that's the most important thing. I hope this blessed you. If it did, please share it with somebody and let us change our world by changing our minds. See you next time. Bye.